Hey guys, summer camp is going to be here before we know it, and we're planning a fundraiser to try to mitigate the cost of that or even make it totally free. So pay attention for the next couple minutes and I'll show you how we're planning on doing that. Over the past few years, we've done a basketball tournament fundraiser, but this year we're going to do a golf tournament fundraiser. Okay, it's going to be on Thursday, August the 27th. For the volunteers, they needed to get there at 8 a.m. We're going to have a 9 a.m. shotgun start. If you know anybody that would want to participate in this tournament, please invite them and give them all the information. It's going to be at Cedarbrook Country Club in Elkin. How this is going to raise money for our summer camp is not necessarily going to be from the players signing up, although that will help a little bit. But the real way that we're going to raise funds is by acquiring sponsors, like we've done with our basketball tournament in the past. So before we do that, let's go over what we need out of this tournament, right? So the per student cost for camp this year is going to be $347.80, and that's after the $125 deposit. But we also have to pay for our leaders to go, and we don't make them pay anything, right? It's our conviction that since they're already taking off a week from work, either with their vacation time or just with unpaid leave, I don't want to then make them also have to pay to go to camp to serve our teenagers, even though they love it and they enjoy it, and I'm sure they would, if at all possible, we want to pay their way. And so the funds that we get from the sponsorships are first going to go toward paying that $2,836.80. And then after that, the funds will be applied to the different students who have participated. It will apply to their balance of $347.80, and everybody has to pay the $125 deposit. And so in total, if everybody is going to go for free apart from the deposit, we need to raise at least $8,000 or around $8,000, and that will also go to kind of pay for the signage and everything for the tournament as well. So our goal in total is to get enough sponsors to raise $8,000. Our strategy is to get different tiers of sponsors like we've done in the past with our basketball tournament, if you are familiar with that. And these are all the sponsorship tiers on the screen as you see here. I'm not going to read through them all. You can pause the video and read through it at your leisure if you would like to. And then there's a possible breakdown of what a successful fundraising tournament would look like, possibly. It doesn't have to be this. We could have a whole lot more whole sponsors, or we could have 2 presenting sponsors, which would make it, which would bring us closer to our goal and make it to where we didn't need as many lesser sponsors, right? But every student, if they want to cover their summer camp, needs to get at least 2 whole sponsors, as you'll notice, because those are $200 a piece, and the cost for camp is over $200. But again, that only applies to their account if we are able to raise enough to pay for every leader to go, and then after that, we can decide how the rest of the funds will be applied to the students who participated in the fundraiser. Okay. So again, we need $8,000, and we have 14 students going to camp, right? So if 6 students each secure one of the bigger sponsorships, like the presenting sponsor, putting contest, scoreboard, awards reception, and they also secure a whole sponsor, which we only need 18 from this simulation down here, if that's going to come to be. And then every other student secures 2 whole sponsors just to cover themselves, then everybody gets to go to camp for free. Okay, so the deadline for sponsorships is going to be Sunday, June the 28th, which is 12 weeks from this past Easter Sunday. And that might sound like a lot of time. If you're a procrastinator like me, you might be tempted to just put this off and do it later, but it's not as much time as you think, and it will sneak up on you, and you will end up having to pay for your entire way to camp. So don't wait. Go ahead and start asking people. You have friends that their parents own businesses. You have family friends who own businesses. You have family members that own businesses. Just ask them to sponsor with a $200 whole sponsor at the very least, but don't let them off the hook so quickly, right? Ask for the big ones first, and you don't know if you don't ask. The worst thing that they can say is no, right? So make sure you get on that quick. And just to help you out, here is a list of sponsors that we have had in the past that have said yes to helping us pay for summer camp in the past. And so start by asking these people, okay? I'll have the list of these on in the drive that all the rest of this information is in, and I'm also going to send a link to that Google Drive and just this document with all this stuff on it in the GroupMe soon, so that you can have it just on file. But check out these places, Google where they are. Some of them they don't have like a physical building that you can go to ask, because it's just like a small business that they operate out of their truck or whatever. But if you are having trouble finding people to ask, consult this list. If you can't find them on the list, or you can't figure out, how to get in contact with some of these people, ask me and I will give you their number or whatever, and their contact info will be in those documents that I put in the drive. So look there first, okay? So for fundraising instructions, this is what you're going to do. There's a sheet of paper and it looks like this. Okay, I've printed out a bunch of these, and what you're going to do is you're going to take the paper with you when you go ask for sponsorships. What you're going to do is you're going to tell the potential sponsor who you are. You're going to tell them the purpose of why you're raising the funds. You're going to tell them how much camp means to you and how it's had a positive impact on your life. And you're going to give them the fundraiser details, like where it is and when it is and all that good stuff. Then you're going to give them a copy of this paper, and you're going to kind of explain the tier list. Make sure you read the tier list for yourself first, so you kind of have an idea of what goes along with each one. You're going to write your name on the piece of paper that you give them, so that they know which student they were working with, and that they can give credit to for acquiring them as a sponsor, so that I know who to give the money to, or apply the money to your camp account. And then if they agree to do a sponsorship, ask them to make the check out to Peace Haven Baptist Church with 2026 camp in the memo. And then you're going to scan the QR code in the bottom right down here. You see that? QR code in the bottom right. And that's going to send you to a Google form. Okay? When you get to the Google form, you're going to fill out all the information. It's going to ask you about the sponsor's name, the sponsor's contact info, your name. It's going to ask you which tier they chose and how they chose to deliver the check, whether they handed you the check and wrote it right there, or if they're going to send it later. All that good stuff. Fill all that out, and then circle the tier that they chose on the sheet and hand it back to them for their records. Okay? So at that point, after you submit the Google form, I have all the information that I need, and it's locked in that you got that sponsor, and so you don't need that copy for yourself anymore. And you want to have a bunch of these copies to give to different businesses, and then you're good. Okay, and then you can go get the next one. So that's pretty much all there is to it that I can think of right now. If something was unclear or you have any more questions, absolutely, reach out. It's not a problem. And we'll try to get everybody's camp paid for free. Okay, so get to work on this. Remember, the deadline is Sunday, June 28th. Yes, so go ahead and get started on this. Don't procrastinate. Don't wait. Get to work, and let's make summer camp free for everybody.